I have 4 on this side and I have 5 on this side. And I've got every single one at Claire's. Like, even though, like, me being older, I'm still like, if I get a piercing again, I will be going to Claire's. Hi, I'm Harley Quinn Smith, and this is my Women's Health Body Scan. My favorite thing about my body is my butt. I try to work out focused on my butt, but I cycle a lot, but I think I've just always had bigger hips, so that sometimes comes with a bigger butt. I just really love my butt. I'm insecure with a lot of parts of my body, but my butt is not one of them. I like having hips and thighs, like big thighs and hips and a butt. That's a part of myself I enjoy. This thing, I don't really know what it would be called either. I guess a beauty mark. I kind of forget it's there a lot of the time, but then I realize on the occasion, like, oh, this is probably like a very noticeable thing to a lot of people, but I forget it's there all the time. But I like it. I think my makeup artist, Emily, has made me like it more or be more comfortable with it, because she always tries to like make it more prominent on my face. Like, after putting face makeup on me, she'll always like go over it to make sure it's out. But I do remember once, I think the first time I actually ever noticed or realized that people saw it was one of the first films I ever did, called All These Small Moments. They wrote a line referring to me about my mark. A character was referring to me and was like, Lindsay, who's my character, Lindsay, like the one with the birthmark on her face. And I was like, what? People see that? Like, it's not just, I thought it was just in my head. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess this is a defining piece of my face, which I'm cool with. So PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, is a hormone disorder. Its biggest thing is weight gain, obesity, hair growth, and acne. It messes with your hormones. I absolutely, if you have access to healthcare, really, really, really encourage, getting your blood checked and seeing if anything is up with your hormones. Because when I got my blood drawn, I was told that a normal estrogen level for a person my age is around 200, and my estrogen level at one point was 8, which is below menopausal. And I'm 21 years old. There's really no reason for that except for PCOS. But it was also weird because PCOS is not the most common, or most commonly known rather, thing. My doctors really didn't actually know what it was, and they were like, I don't know, there could be something going on with like cysts, or I don't know. So it was kind of like a longer process of figuring out what it actually was. And then once I was properly diagnosed, I just kind of went through a period of denial, not wanting to believe that I had that. When I was in high school, my chest and my back were covered in acne, and it was like very, very painful. I used to have to go to the dermatologist to get shots in them sometimes because it hurt so bad, like to lie down and stuff. Now looking back, I'm like, oh, you had PCOS then. You just didn't know, and nobody told you. It's unfortunate because there's not a lot known about PCOS. It doesn't necessarily have a cure per se. It's treated by birth control, and it's also treated by a medication called aldactone, which regulates your hormones. Now I know like how best to treat my PCOS, what it requires. So I have this disorder that's kind of always in the back of my mind, but at the same time, I'm just thankful that I know what's going on with myself now, because I think that's a very powerful place to be in, is just to understand your own self, which sounds like a given, but it's not at all. I've been going to therapy since I was 12 years old. I've been diagnosed with clinical depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So there's a lot that I deal with mentally every day. But for me, it's so important, if you have access to it, to utilize therapy as a tool, because therapy has helped me tremendously. On top of that, when I graduated, I started seeing a psychiatrist as well. And so I personally, for my mental disorders, I take antidepressants, and that has also helped me a lot. And if you're able to get help from either a therapist or a psychiatrist, I absolutely encourage that and think that's a beautiful opportunity. But also, like, if you're not able to access that kind of care, seek help in your friends or people you know, because it's always important to talk about it. You shouldn't keep it inside, is what I'm saying. Confide in people you trust and talk about what's going on, because more than likely other people are going through the same thing, and will understand more than you may think. I have a really weird voice, as you can obviously hear. I have a pretty deep voice that fluctuates a lot. Sometimes it's like really high all of a sudden, and I'm like, where did you come from? But it's low most of the time. I sing in my band, but at the same time, like, I don't think I'm a very good singer. Like, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a singer. I just think, like, I have a more grunge voice when I sing, so it's not like a stunning voice by any means. Like, I'm a lot better at, like, yelling and screaming and that sort of thing. Like, a lot of my life too, people have asked me if I have an accent, just because my voice is really weird, which I don't. I think people don't understand why this voice comes out of this body, but yeah, I don't know. I love talking about my boyfriend, Austin. I talk about him way too much, but thank you for the opportunity to talk about him now. Austin is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. He allowed me to become such a much more freer version of myself than I ever was. He let me embrace how weird of a human I actually am, and he always asks, because I'm so weird, and he always asks, like, were you like this before? And I was like, I mean, when I was younger, yeah, but then I like suppressed my bizarreness for a while, but then once I started dating Austin, it just flew out, and now I think I'm like the weirdest I've ever been, but which I love. We allow each other to just be our full authentic selves, and I've never felt more myself, just because I feel comfortable to be myself, and I know that he won't judge me and will love me more for it. So yeah, I love him a lot. Thank you for watching Body Scan, and don't forget to subscribe to Women's Health.